What's up, y'all? This is the 6th episode of the Road to a 350 bench. We're looking at my secondary day here. So this is my second bench day of the week where I'm hitting some close grip Larson press. And today's topic of discussion is going to be a little different than usual. I actually wanted to address a recent comment I got. It was a really interesting question by a guy named James, and he was essentially asking how I shifted in mindset and I guess execution from a regular gym goer where you just go in, count your reps, check off your list, to someone who is building a defined physique and has clear goals and has clear methods to reach those goals. So I thought that was a really interesting question. And I would say, honestly, it wasn't a single moment or even a specific year in which that started to take place. It kind of evolved over time. I mean, I always had a love for exercise since I was very young. Even when I was a little kid, I would do Tae Bo videos in front of the TV. I don't know if any of y'all are old enough to know what those are, with Billy Blanks. Doing the cross the bodies in front of the TV and all that shit when I was a little kid. I used to love that. Then as I got older, I was in high school. I had access to a gym at school. And so just did the typical gym bro shit, trying to hit bench, hitting every exercise, doing a bunch of dips. Never really had any kind of structure to my training. Just kind of went in and just did whatever I felt like doing. And I started to develop a little bit. I always had pretty good chest development. It always grew pretty well for me. I've never really had problems in that area, and shoulders. But that lack of training structure went on for, I would say, several years. I mean, I would go in the gym with like a general idea. I'm going to hit chest today. I'm going to hit legs. I'm going to hit back. But I kind of just did it however I felt instead of having actual structure. It wasn't until I was about maybe 24 going on 25. I'm 28 right now, by the way, but until I was about 24 or 25 where I really started to look into how to program and what makes a good program and how much volume you really need and how to train with greater effort, how to train failure. And it was an ongoing process. Like I said, it didn't happen in a year, but that's when I really started to dive into those different topics. And I found it fascinating, just learning about all that. So I just kept diving deeper on YouTube, reading resources. And I can cite some of my sources like Bald Omni-Man, Revival Fitness, Joffrey Verity Schofield, Ankari Elite Fitness, Alpha Destiny, Alex Leonidas, a lot of different sources that I was learning from. And since I loved it, I just, was passionate about it, and I just continued to learn and started to implement those methods into my own training. Originally, I would just follow programs that they would have, any free programs like one of Bald Omni-Man's, Berserk method programs, or Joffrey Verity Schofield's his sweat program. I remember I followed that for a while, but then I started to see that there are ways I wanted to do things a little differently than they did, which isn't a bad thing. Everyone's different, and not everything that works for someone else is going to work for you, or maybe there's something else that will work better for you. Their program may work, but you might be able to do something better for yourself. So following their methodologies and the way that they programmed, I started to take things into my own hands. And since then, I would say that's really when my understanding and my clarity on building towards a physique that I have in mind and implementing different ways of achieving that, that's when that really started to take shape. And you got to be a student of the game, man. If you love this shit, you have to be a student of the game, and you have to learn, and you have to try new things. You have to experiment. You have to be okay with failing. but just get right back up and keep going. So I hope that answers the question. Thanks again, James, for that comment, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.